everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Interviews, and just like last video with the Batman the Animated Series, after a little bit of a hiatus, like 2 months, we're back with more Justice League, back to our regularly scheduled content, and we're doing Justice League Season 1, Episode 2. It is called Secret Origins Part 2. So full spoilers, you would not see the episode. I would have put a spoiler warning before the video like I have been for some of my other ones, but I have a template used to get the music timed out right, and I didn't feel like futzing with it. Come on, don't get out of focus. And so that's why it's going to look like these. So I'll just tell you about spoilers before we get into the video. So this one is our middle of the three-part arc, the three-part intro to the show. So you know that this is going to end on a big cliffhanger, and at the end of the last episode we meet Martian Manhunter, John Jones. We got a little bit of a taste of Wonder Woman, seeing kind of everywhere everybody was, but that was mostly a Batman Superman episode. This is the bringing of the team originally together. They're not the Justice League yet, they're just a bunch of people that come together that all have powers. And so things, like it's cliche, but that's how these, stories work, is you got to start to learn how to work as a team. And that's what happens here, is we get the team together, we see what works, what doesn't work. They're up against insurmountable odds against an alien race that basically got them to demilitarize themselves, to take away their weapons. It makes me think of the Simpsons episode where they burn all their guns and then the aliens come and just take over. Well, that's kind of what they did here, on a different scale, more insidious, because they came under the guise of the astronauts saying we need to get rid of our nuclear weapons and everything, just so that we couldn't stop them. It's pretty clever, actually, and again, kid show. They're not holding your hand. They're doing some big stuff in these episodes, and I really dig it. So let's just jump right in to the episode where Diana comes into, she sneaks into, she's in Themyscira. I love that shot with the boat. I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Odyssey lately, so I'm like, ooh, this is just what I'm used to right now. And she sneaks into the temple where they have the Wonder Woman gear sitting there, like, just out in the open. I guess they figured no one would dare take the stuff that wasn't, if it wasn't meant for them. But Diana, kind of feeling like it was, she takes off her robe and is au naturel in the middle of the temple, because, hey, man, she's surrounded by girls, all right? There's not going to be some dudes prying around being all pervy, just the people watching the show. And so she grabs her gear and takes off. Meanwhile, what we have next is the continuation of the end of last episode, where Bats, Soups, and John are surrounded by military guys who turn out to actually be the alien beings. And so Soups tries to keep them off of them, while Batman and John are trying to get out of there. But this is also where Bats starts to learn the true capabilities of the Martian Manhunter. He has no idea what he's capable of, so when he phases through him, it's a pretty big shock for him, because John saves his life and gets shot in the process. And in a few times in this episode, a couple of key moments, John and Batman both are trade blows to save the other one's life. So, but John always gets hurt twice in this episode, very kind of conveniently for the plot. But whatever, it's not that big. It's not that big of a deal. It's, they're trying to tell a 20-minute story, or actually 60-minute story, which usually a story like this would be like a 2.5-hour movie. So John gets shot, and Bats gets him into the Batplane, while Superman fights him off. And what ensues is this really cool battle that you're seeing playing out behind me, where he's phasing in and out of the ship, helping the battle get fights. This is all like, I would say this is just an intro to the character, so we fully understand the scope of his powers and do it in a really cool way. And then as one by one, we get the introduction of all the Justice League members. Like Green Lantern shows up to help Batman's ship from crashing into the ground, even though Martian Manhunter probably could have, Bats could have ejected and Martian Manhunter could have just phased out of there. But he saves him, intro. Hawkgirl shows up with her great big electric mace, which is an awesome weapon. She's a badass character, by the way. I really like her, and her arc in this show is fantastic. Um, so she shows up too, and then Flash kind of comes. Well, Wonder Woman shows up, saves Hawkgirl, and then Flash comes up the rear. Really doesn't do anything. Right here, he just kind of shows up and gives Batman some, the business. Like, hey, did you lose this? So the team is now officially together. We find out that John is the one who telepathically contacted everybody. I mean, he contacted GL, and he was out in Rigel 7 or what, some other bullshit sci-fi thing. And by saying bullshit sci-fi thing, I mean just random. Where did we say he was? I don't know. Rigel 7. So it's just meant to sound somewhere really fucking far away. So it also shows the scope of how far Martian Manhunter's telepathy can go. Like Charles Xavier, eat your heart out. So the team is all together, and in this moment, while they start to come together, this is where John shares his memories of why he brought them together, what happened in the past with these alien beings, and how they, he's from Mars, and he was, they had a nice society built, as we can see, and then they came. And they came and they basically just laid waste to the entire planet. Like Mars used to be this beautiful red planet full of beings. These things showed up, destroyed everything, killed everyone, and the only one who lives is John. Convenient, but again, you need it for the plot. It's his tragic story. I believe this is way different than his story in the comics. I mean, he still ends up being the last Martian, but just like Superman being the last Kryptonian, he's not the last Kryptonian. People fucking show up here and there. So they get this nerve agent. He has this nerve agent, and he puts them down, but it's too late. Everyone else is dead, and it's pretty horrible. Watching your entire race die as you live. I mean, what do you have to live for at that point? So he puts himself in like a suspended animation, a stasis, while these things are out for the count. Just waiting, basically, for something better, to be woken up in the future, when they can handle this properly. But what happens is the Mars astronauts arrive from episode 1, where they wake him up. They find the place, they wake him up, but when they wake him up, they woke up these aliens, these other aliens as well, and they take over the astronauts. They come to Earth, and that's where we all catch up. And that if we can't stop them here, they're just going to move from planet to planet to planet. Which makes me wonder, why did it take so long for them to get to Earth? To do this to us? If this happened to Mars, long ass time ago, again, I guess we're not really supposed to think about it, but it's fine. Again, it's not a gripe. It's just things you think about that I might not have thought of. I'm pretty sure I didn't think about when I originally watched the show. And now there's this giant machine that popped up, and I love how these things are organic but metal too. So this thing that comes out of the ground in New York or Metropolis or whatever it is, where they're reporting it and the military is all there, these tentacles come out, this huge thing, and it looks like the fucking Kraken, and like a giant octopus, but it's also a machine, and it solidifies and begins to drill down into the earth and firing rockets, and they're basically trying to block out the sun because these things are nocturnal. And they're doing it all over the world. And so they have to, GL comes up with the idea, we got to team up, we got to find the right group of people to take out each one of these things. And I love the introduction of Diana here. Flash is just completely enamored with her. Superman hitting him in the ribs at one point. But when they decide to set up teams, Flash runs up to Diana and he's like, I got dibs on the Amazon. And the look on her face where she's just like, you're going to see it in a second here behind me, but it's just like this kind of horrified, what do I do? What do I do? Who is this? Look on her face. And we cut to GL and Flash teaming up together. He's like, you're no fun. But he's like, what I like about them not using Hal Jordan and using Jon Stewart, I used to think, oh yeah, the guy from the Daily Show is a Green Lantern, but and black now. Uh, but I really like John Stewart as a Green Lantern, and I really like him in this because he's military. He wasn't a pilot like Hal Jordan was, even though Hal was military. Also, he's more of the the hard like the Marine, and so he understands strategy. He understands how to put teams together. Everybody brings something special to the team, and John Stewart's the proper way because Hal Jordan, in my opinion, while I really like Hal Jordan as a character, he's he's a little, like Bats kind of thinks of him in the comics a lot of times as being kind of dumb. You know, this guy who has a lot of power, and he's not really respected by characters like Batman. And it's in some depending on who's writing it. Like Hal's a great character, but John is the real military mind. And so he puts the teams together as he sees it. So him and Flash are a team, Hawkgirl and Superman are a team, and then Batman, Wonder Woman, and Martian Manhunter are a team. And Flash immediately, as I said at the beginning, this is the team building exercise, basically, like how we all learn to work together. So Flash, doesn't think he needs a plan, just shoots forward ahead, cockily, and ends up literally getting stuck, and Green Lantern having to save him. We get to see the vibration powers that he has. This is really cool. Which is something that when they finally made the Flash show, I like when they actually use things that Flash can do besides just running fast. Gotta go faster. I can't run that fast. Oh yeah, I can. Sorry. I feel like the Flash TV show is kind of like Entourage. The joke that they make about Entourage and Family Guy, where they're like, "Oh man, there's no way we can do it," and then they 5 seconds later they go, "Hey, guess what? It turns out we can." That's how I feel about every season of the Flash. Is I can't run that fast, and then, oh, I guess I can. Even though I still like the Flash show, But anyway. Wonder Woman shows off her stuff. She gets the line around her lasso around the legs of one of these giant organic beings and brings it down. One of the things I like about that scene is when it falls, it's not just some quiet noise like a human would be or like any other organic creature would make as a noise. It's all metallic. It sounds like a giant crane crashing down, and I really dig that that's something that they added into this techno-organic metal race of beings it's really, really cool. And I know it's way more complicated than that, and people can rip me to shreds and tell me, well, actually, this kind of thing is, yeah. All right? Just back off. I'm preemptively backing people off. So, we get Bats, Superman, and Hawkgirl, and like Superman's the big strong guy. He's the tank. He doesn't really need much help. But Hawkgirl, she just lunges ahead and just takes out all these guys, and all Superman can say is, "Whoa!" Like he did not expect that of her. I thought that was pretty cool. But they go down anyway. Basically, everybody starts to go down, trying to take these things out, and it's basically up to Bats, Wonder Woman, and John to get this rock out of the thing. It's kind of like a source of power, and they, also Batman wants to know how they know how these things are basically knowing what they're going to do before they do it. They always have an answer to that, but before they can do that, John gets the rock out, but they get surrounded. They can't do anything. John gets hurt again, convenient for the plot. And Batman says, "Get him out of here." And so they do, and Batman gets locked inside, and all you hear is him turn around, a bunch of guys with guns facing him. You cut to John and Wonder Woman hearing the blasting, and John telling her there's nothing more you can do for Batman. He's gone. And, okay, so we're supposed to go, if you're a kid when this came out, you're supposed to go, what? Batman's dead? But it'd be it'd be ballsy if they came back next episode in that part 3 and went, yeah, Batman's fucking dead. But we know it's just, how did he survive it? how did he manage to get away? And I actually do like what they do with part 3 and how they solve this situation. But that's the end of the episode. It's a big cliffhanger because, Batman being dead is a huge thing. So anyway, I'm really glad to be back to doing these. I'm sorry, again, if I was just getting started with these, so I was already kind of rusty, and now I'm rustier. So I got to get back into a flow with doing these. So if you did happen to like this review, though, please hit the like button. Comment, let me know what you guys think. Share this video with as many people as you can if you like this kind of content, or people that you know like this content. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber to the channel. You can find me on Twitter at reviews_gun. You want to follow me there. That'd be fine. If you feel like donating to the channel, we have a PayPal. It's paypal.me/SmirkingGunReviews, and a Ko-Fi at ko-fi.com/SmirkingGunReviews if you want to help make the channel better. We use it for software and lights and things that we need. Like sometimes people want me to review something and we don't have the money for it. Sometimes we use it to pay to do reviews and things like that as well. So this is Rob at Smirking Gun Reviews saying hopefully we'll get better at these videos. We usually do it usually like a kind of a learning curve on how to do each kind of show, and as it goes on, the show kind of the reviews kind of evolve. So this is Rob at Smirking Gun Reviews saying have a great day, and we'll see you next week with part 3 of Secret Origins. Bye.